So it's been almost 2 in-game months since you were last here, and that means we've got 9 games to get you caught up on before we jump into a League 2 match against Harrogate Town. Let's get into it. So yeah, we've played 13 league games, I think it is at this point, and I will say this season has been marred horribly by just a complete lack of scoring from our forwards. Up until a few games ago, I'm not going to go into too many specifics, but Stephen Bain and Kevin O'Neill had not scored in 10 or so games. So we've really struggled for goals so far this season. But while we haven't really been performing at that end of the pitch, we've been looking across the whole team for places to improve. And we have actually made 2 deadline day deals. Both youngsters. We managed to get Ian Jardine, who's coming in as basically a youth goalkeeper. I thought he's got amazing physicals and pretty good goalkeeping stats for a 17-year-old. He's worth $65,000. He's only on £200 a week. So he's basically sat in the under-21s at the moment. And I mean, if I compare him to like Ombang, for instance, he's definitely not far off that level, and in some places is better than Ombang. I think if we could just get his shot stopping and stuff up a little bit higher, because obviously shot stopping, distribution and aerial is probably the 3 most vital things for a goalkeeper in my eyes. So I don't really want him coming into the squad just yet, but he might end up moving into the number 2 spot relatively soon, just because he's better than James Wright. But you know, he is very young still, so we're just letting him spend a bit of time in the youth system, playing for our under-21s, getting some regular game time, and we'll see what comes of him. We also managed to find Nathan Hughes, which is another 17-year-old who's actually 18 now, as of 11 days ago. Happy birthday. I wondered why you've slightly declined since now. But yeah, he broke into the first team at Wellingborough Whitworths, down in the 10th tier towards the end of last season. And he popped up on one of our scouting lists, and I was absolutely blown away when I saw him, to be honest. He's basically come straight in as a decent League 2 player, basically completely unknown. League 2 player with Championship player standard. He's on £300 a week, so that is also very low. Obviously, I don't have access to the hidden stats, but I feel like his reputation or whatever, you know, the world reputation, I can't think what the other 2 are, like club reputation or something like that. They must be incredibly low for him to go unnoticed down in the 10th tier of English football. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I must have spent maybe 5 or 6 hours on deadline, like on just deadline day, going like 1 hour at a time, just desperately looking for players. Couldn't really find anyone other than these 2. I must have looked at a good few hundred. We did also have an offer in for Agbino, which I rejected, which I really wish I'd sold him for now. I mean, he's currently on loan at Dulwich Hamlet because Kevin O'Neill's come in and taken, you know, one of the top 3 spots as our striker away. But we did have an offer for him. I can't even think what country it was from. It was a foreign club, I could tell you that much. That offered 60,000 for him, and it was going to be rising up to 100,000 based on it was a number of things. It was like per league appearance, after like 30 league appearances, and I think a 12-month instalment or 2 potentially for the extra 40,000. And I just thought, this is taking the piss a bit. I just want to get 100,000 straight up, and desperately tried to offer him out to everyone. No one wanted him, and he's ended up going on loan, and I'm still paying some of his wages. So that was a pretty horrible bit of business from me, I will admit. But yeah, I think we're about ready to jump into the recap. So the goal scoring struggles have definitely got a little bit better lately, but for a good chunk of the matches since you were last here, we've very much just had to scrape results wherever we could. I'm not as far into the season as I normally do go on these little jump forwards, just because I'd like to get, scatter a few more games in. Being as we've been waiting to get into league football for so long, I just thought it makes sense that we'd do a little bit more. So yeah, in the last game that you saw, we managed to beat Gillingham 1-0 in the Papa John's Trophy, and then straight up against that, we were brought straight back down to earth with a 2-1 loss to Exeter. This was quite a frustrating game, and it kind of just solidified where we are in the league compared to most of the team. It did start off very well though, with a nice Cadamartry pass back to Lewis, puts the cross in, and Rigg manages to smash it past Philip Schofield in goal. We were brought back to earth 3 minutes later when Kamara puts the ball under Ombang, a very lucky penalty there. And then the first 51st minute, a nice little low cross comes in, and Kamara managed to grab his second of the game and secure the 3 points for Exeter. Following on from that, we managed a 1-1 draw at home to Morecambe. This game, we were actually probably the better team throughout, but obviously we only came away with a point. A nice little twisting header from Cadamartry started things off from Raboyan cross, puts it just inside the left post. Before in the 55th minute, I think it was, Oyedale comes to Swan, he just beats our defensive line, pops it in the bottom corner, Way too easy, to be honest. Obviously not thrilled that he got such a simple chance, but that even the tie at 1-1, and that is where it finished. We did get injuries to Rigg and Woodyard in that game, which is a consistent trend you're going to see going forward, because, my God, I thought I might have too many midfielders this season, and it turns out I still don't have enough. And our lack of depth definitely shown in the following game, where we played fellow promoted team Notts County. Even just having Foyo out for this, for Turnbull, and, a very decent midfield, we still got absolutely battered. But as always, as has been the case so many times, we surged into an early lead. When in the 10th minute, Sherwood gets the ball to Dunn, and a lovely pass through to Cadamarteri again lets him beat the keeper in the near post, bottom corner. Just in time to 10 minutes. But less than a minute later, this highlight starts. Dunn loses the ball in an almost identical position. Koza Dubry picks it up, gets a nice ball into Joliffe, who rockets it into the roof of the net. Notts County's dominance was established even further when the ball comes loose here. Joliffe puts it back to Koza Dubry this time and beats Umbang at the near post. Just before half-time, 38th minute, they surge forward once again, this time put it into Sekeld, who beats the keeper at the far side. We just absolutely collapsed, to be honest. I was not happy at all, and even less happy, we had 2 goals ruled out late on. The following game, we actually had a bit of good news for once. Cadamarteri managed a hat-trick up against Swindon at home. Fantastic performance from him. Still didn't get a perfect 10, which is a little bit annoying. But once again, we came into an early lead when a very strange header from Cadamarteri hit the crossbar. I think the keeper, then the post then went in. I'm not quite sure what happened. It all happened very quickly. Then a long ball gets flicked on by O'Neill, and Cadamarteri rockets it in the bottom corner just after half time. Then just before the full time whistle, a Clements cross to Cadamarteri at the back post gets headed in with ease. But then we always have time for a little mess up, and this was quite a funny one. A long cross comes over. Evans takes an absolute rocket of a shot at Ombang, and Ombang looks like he's been shot, just dives for cover, and the ball ricochets off him and goes into the net. So we managed to pick up 3 points, and I was absolutely delighted with that because I was very worried. But once again, we get brought back down to earth very quickly. This time it was due to 2 early goals in a 2-0 loss to Chesterfield, both relatively bad defending. This is a sort of looping header. We've got Foyo going up to challenge their striker, or one of their players, for a header. Little 5-foot Foyo. He's not going to win that back very often. And then another cross in. Ombang just takes a sort of wild flap at it, and Phillips basically heads it into an open net. So very disappointing there. As you can see, O'Neill had an absolute shocker once again, ended up coming off. Was not thrilled with him. And I'm going to be honest, I came into this Brighton under-21s game in the Papa John's Trophy expected to get absolutely hammered. We even slightly rotated the team, not massively rotated the team, but we had Mitchell playing defensive mid. We had Wright in goal. We rested Cadamarteri. We played Clements at left back. Generally speaking, this is not how we would line up our first team, let's say. But we absolutely destroyed them, and I just didn't really understand it. They didn't really play it well. They didn't play any names that I recognise at the very least, let's say. There might have been some that are currently with Brighton, but I am not sure. 3.14 XG, 22 shots with 6 on target. They didn't get a shot on target all game. And I was definitely thinking this was going to be one of those games that just ran out to a 0-0 draw where we feel massively hard done by and don't manage to get a result out of it. But fortunately, in the 87th minute, nice pass over from Woodyard. Cadamarteri picks it up, gets the ball inside to Sherwood, and he just neatly slots it into that bottom left corner to secure the victory for us and actually secure our path through to the next round. You can see here we've only got Swindon left to play, and we're 4 points ahead of Gillingham in third, so we've got no chance of actually not qualifying. Just depends if we qualify top or second, depending on the Swindon result, which will probably be in the next episode. I think I'm going to do that game. But we shall get to future plans in a second. Let's get through this Oldham match first, where, as is becoming very traditional, this has got to the point where I was really just having a go at O'Neill after pretty much every game, because he'd get chance after chance and just not manage to do anything. To be fair, this game, I will say, he was at a 6.2, 6.3 until quite late on, and then I think he just sort of botched too many things in a row. We ended up with almost a 2 XG and got nothing out of it, and I'm putting that almost exclusively down to him. But you can see Cisse got a nice goal at the back post there. We missed a penalty early on. We had quite a lot of chances, or quite a lot of times where O'Neill would get into a dangerous position and just do nothing with the ball. Pretty sure he got put through on goal at one point and just sort of held the ball up despite basically being one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I really just did not. I was getting really mad with him. And I've been having to go at Kevin O'Neill quite a bit over these last few games just because he'd just not been up to standard. But after the Oldham game, I tried a slightly different approach and went for I think there's an option that basically says, like, don't worry about it, I've got faith that the goals will come soon. And in the next game, he actually scored his first goal for the club. A long time coming, I'm not going to lie. It has been so long coming. But, we managed to beat Tranmere Rovers 4-0 in a very dominant performance. And this has given me a little bit of hope for the second half of the season. A beautiful free kick from Aliou put into the top corner to start things off in the 20th minute. Then 3 minutes later, a long ball over from Hughes. Cadamartri just gets a touch to knock it past the goalkeeper and then slots it into the open net. Then 37th minute, another long ball over. Cadamartri gets it out wide. Managed to get the ball back to Hughes, our left back, who managed to rock it into the roof of the net for, I think, his first goal of the club. And then in the 65th minute, a long ball over from Abbott. O'Neill gets on the end of it and makes the keeper look silly once again. Just takes a little step to the left and pops it into an essentially open net. Honestly, if he'd missed that, I probably would have just released him because I would have been absolutely fuming. And wouldn't you know it, like they say with London buses, you wait 10 games for one to come along, and then 3 come at once. He got an extra 2 goals in the game against Stevenage in a 2-0 victory. The first one came from a very unselfish bit of play from Cadamartri. Batty puts a lovely ball up, and I'm still not 100% sure that O'Neill is onside in that position. I feel like he was ahead of the ball, but I'm going to trust that it's just 3D, showing things a little bit wrong. But yeah, he finishes into an open net in the 32nd minute. And then, similar to his last goal, a ball over from a defender. Defender misses it this time. Their defender misses it. And O'Neill just steps to the left and pops it past the keeper. So yeah, that's two victories in a row. And to be honest, that is one of the main reasons that I've come back at this point, because this is the first time that we've had 2 decent results in a row since we left off. And I mean, we've only played, 9 games since you left. I thought we'd come back for this. I mean, Harrogate Town, they're only in 10th. They're close to us because after those results, we are in 14th. We did drop down to, I want to say, 18th, 19th at one point, but those 2 last victories have put us back up to mid-table and in a relatively good position going forward. We're still in touch with the playoffs. Like I've said a million times, I really think the playoffs would be a massive achievement if we manage it this season. It was a massive achievement last season, but we also nearly stuck the title last season, so it felt like a failure. Does that make sense? But the fact that, once again, we've got 7 slots we could try and get into. We've still only got 2 playoff games, as we did last season, because, slightly different promotion rules. But I'm quite happy with how we are going. We're still going to jump forward a little bit, as we go. We're not going to do every other game or anything like that. But I just thought we're in a good little position. We've got a little bit to catch up on, and rather than be doing a full, hour-long catch-up of 20-plus games, we'll just do this in slightly smaller sections this season. But yeah, just wanted to get a nice league game under the table. The observant of you might have also noticed that for those last, I think, 3 games, I want to say, it might have just been the 2 wins. We've switched to a 4-3-1-2 rather than the 4-1-3-2 we had before. It just sort of links up our attackers with our midfielders a little bit better, rather than having basically 4 defenders and a defensive midfield, and then sort of everyone a little bit lost in the midfield. We had 2 Mazzalas, so I think people were going wide, and it was leaving just our playmaker to try and do most of the work himself. But yeah, we're lining up this game with Ombang at the back, Hughes, Aliou, Abbott and Lewis across defence, Dunn, Foyo and Sherwood in midfield. We've got an advanced playmaker in Sherwood on the right-hand side, and Foyo as his ball-winning midfielder on defend it in the middle. Rig has been playing as an enganche, which, I have said before, I don't really know what an enganche does. As I have read this description here, but it's kind of hard for me to visualise exactly what it does, even despite there being a literal visual there to show me. And then, we've got O'Neill and Cadamartri starting up front, both as advanced forwards, despite both of them having better roles. But I think that O'Neill played best as a pressing forward and Cadamartri as a poacher. But we've been playing them as advanced forwards, and they seem to be doing pretty well. Ombang, I'm still switching between putting him as a goalkeeper and a sweeper keeper. I don't really trust our centre-backs and him to be playing around with the ball too much. That's what we've got on our main formation that we normally use, and it just hasn't been giving us the results. And to be honest, if this is working, it's fine. If we had them as ball-playing defenders, I think maybe that might work out a little bit better, but we might look at that for future seasons. But as it stands, things seem to be working as they are. So yeah, let's just get into the game. We've got no little pop-ups at the start, which is unusual. We normally get Even this far into the season, I've normally got someone on the pitch who's lacking in match sharpness or who isn't 100% fit, but I will take that quite happily. Outstretched arms, carry on your last performance and we'll do well. We'll also have Trish to make a difference. I've got faith in you. Yeah, that's most of our team buzzing at that. Okay, Harrogate Town are lining up in a 4-3-3. Shades of us from 2 seasons ago, I want to say. And we are in our 4-3-1-2, which is first time on video. We've got 2,245 fans here today to see this match. I have actually noticed as well, my attendances and my gate receipts have absolutely shot up this season. Not like, not millionaires, but I think by the end of the season, because we're paying so little on wages, we might actually have that like $1 million in the bank. But yeah, that's not really the time or the place to be discussing this right now, as we start off with a pretty bad pass from us, but we win the ball back. And it falls out to Dunn. Rigg looks to put a ball forward. I puts a long ball out to Cadamartri, who might have a chance to pull inside. No, he gets dispossessed by Jackson, their defender. Armstrong gets the ball away. Oh, what was that? Their left winger wasn't even looking at that, and it just sort of bounced off his head. That's a perfect flick on. But yeah, Aliou puts the ball out to Hughes on the left. He's got a nice little turn of pace, this Hughes. And gets it up to O'Neill, the other young signing in the team. Dunn gets the ball back to Hughes, and Cadamartri with a lovely header into the top right corner. Absolutely beautiful from him. It's what I've come to expect. So many of his goals have been these kind of deft little headers into the far corner. Not really deft, he definitely changed. He definitely changed the direction of it. Kill me. But yeah, beautiful little finish. I'm not really sure what McLoone was doing there, marking him. I feel like he probably should have got something on it. But yeah, very happy to be 1-0 up. Now got Foyer getting the ball to Rigg. Oh, gets the ball through to Cadamartri again. And he's got a second. Wow, that was so quick. What was the actual time between those goals? I didn't look at the clock for the first one, I don't think. That was crazy. Just like a quick rapid fire. I saw this coming, I thought, this is looking good, but I don't think we're going to score twice. Yeah, beautiful little pass from Rigg there. He's been such a good signing. And he gets it through to Cadamartri. Beautiful finish. It was 2 minutes between those 2 goals. Oh, that's nice. Isn't it nice sometimes when you pause the game and it stops the crowd from going mental in your ears? Every single time I have recorded a match for the last 10 seasons, I've had to lower the crowd noise in post-processing. I really should just do that in the settings. Oh, but O'Neill's through again. And oh, he nearly gets a goal for himself. But a good save from the keeper, and it falls to Jackson, who gets it away. Oh, another highlight in the 36th minute. I was just having a drink. Was that a shot, or was that them clearing the ball? Please get this to one of our players on bang. Yeah, that really struck me as one of those highlights where he's going to clear it straight to them and they're scoring to an open net. But no, the ball comes up to O'Neill. Oh, it unleashes an absolute rocket from just outside the area. Okay, 44th minute, just before half-time, Lewis has got a corner. He puts it into Cadamartri, and it got cleared off the line, I think, by McLoone. It's definitely made up for that first goals mess up, if that is the case. But yeah, we go in at half-time, 2-0 up. I am absolutely delighted with that. We're ahead on the scoreboard, and we certainly deserve to be, given how much we've created. Appearing positively chuffed. It's so nice to have players that actually respond to you. It's one of the problems early on in the season. You're giving out instructions to players that you know they've only been at the club for like 2 weeks and they just do not give a shit what you're saying. Right, 53rd minute, Cadamartri gets the ball to Sherwood, tries a pass through to Rigg, but it doesn't come off. So he had a quick drink at half time and it's given me the hiccups. Sherwood gets it out to Foyo. Is Rigg now going to try a long ball? No, it looked like it was lining up for it, but it never happened. Ball comes out to Aliou, and he just passed it back to Ombang, playing it safe. Another long ball over to nobody. Cadamartri didn't bother chasing that one down. They've got so much space at like left back and right back just because we don't play with wingers. But I think we packed the midfield enough that it's probably worth it. Mint there with a very good chance, but he sort of made the angle tight for himself, and Ombang makes a save relatively comfortably. 58th minute. There's quite a lot of highlights in this game, I will say. Ball comes to Rigg. Nice little back heel there to Dunn. He tries to get the ball over to Cadamartri again, but doesn't quite manage it. And now Jackson's burning down the left wing for Harrogate. Wills. Oh, Lewis makes a very stupid tackle and he's going to be off, isn't he? Yeah, that's a second yellow. Oh, Lewis, you're so stupid. I was just thinking I should make some subs at like about 60, 65 minutes. So we need to make some changes here. We've also got two other defenders that are both on yellow cards. We need to be careful because this could end up being an absolute disaster for us. Problem is, we don't have another right back really on the bench. I mean, Lloyd Jones can play right back, but honestly, he shouldn't. Sherwood is at a 6.6 rated, so he's been the worst. So we're going to bring Lloyd Jones on and put him at the back. I'm going to put him as a wing back, I think, just because that's a role he can actually play. We've got Abbott and Aliou here. I'm going to switch these over just because, I don't know, but I don't like the fact that both of the players on this side had a yellow card, so at least this gives someone without a yellow to be able to dive into a challenge if required. Foyo's going to play defensive ball-winning midfielder still. Dunn is still going to be a Mazzala. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with anything else, I don't think. Kevin O'Neill's not had the best game, so I'm going to bring Stephen Bain on. And I think that's where we leave it. No, actually, Aliou can come off for Mulroney. Just because he's on a yellow. Let's just not be silly. Don't know why I changed him around now I'm thinking about it when that was the obvious solution to the problem. But yeah, we just really need to make sure that this game doesn't get away from us now that they've got a man advantage. We haven't had many highlights since. We have got some very tired legs. Oh, Bobby Dunn's injured now as well. Let's bring Woodyard on. And then we've got two defensive midfielders, let's say. And then a little bit going forward. I think that sort of works out for us. Oh, God, there's a highlight straight away. Royal Welsh, it's more to Mint. Oh, Abbott managed to dispossess him, and he puts the ball up. Bain is running onto it. He's got away from his defender. Can he get the ball through? I think Cadamartri might have been offside there. Oh, what a finish. Please tell me that was onside. No. That was an absolute rocket. That's the best goal he scored all season. Oh, that pass just waited just that split second too long. It was closer than I thought it was, to be honest. That was such a good finish as well. they have actually done nothing this game. But we've had all the yellow cards, red cards, goals, disallowed goals a lot. Willis, it's ball into James. Willis again. McLuhan can't get to it, and it comes out to Cadamartri, who just headers it back to their defender. We've got Jackson now. The ball bobbles off a defender there and ends up in Ombang's hands. Okay. Comes out to Bain. Oh, Cadamartri gets on the end of the flick on. It's one-on-one. He's waited a bit too long there. We let the defender come across, put some pressure on him, and a weak shot ends up falling into the arms of Luke Armstrong in the Harrogate net. Just for the last 10 minutes or so, I'm going to slow the tempo down, bring up the time wasting. Standard passing still. I don't like going shorter passing with this team. Yeah, we're just going to go with that. I might make another sub or two just because we've got some players on the pitch that are basically dead. Mitchell on for Abbott, yeah, because he's really struggling a bit. And we don't really that's actually all 5 subs, isn't it? I mean, the only other option would be to bring on Wheeldon, which doesn't really make any sense in any capacity. So yeah, we made our 5 subs. Let's also, for stoppage time, I'll knock it down to cautious just to try and see out the game. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a win. I can't see any way they come back into it at this point. And they haven't. That's just a very dominant performance from us. Definitely would have liked to see a goal in the second half, that Cadamartri one. Just to, really secure that victory. 2-0 can be quite a scary lead to protect, especially late on into the game, because you just think the momentum from one goal. I mean, it's not like I'm coming up with this theory. No, it's a very common thing in football, I suppose. The sound you hear is everyone that wrote us off backtracking. What a performance. There we go. Everyone is so happy. You've been miserable all season with the up and down results. Now you win 3 in a row and suddenly you think you're God's gift. It's beautiful. Fans are also constantly asking for a permanent deal for Cadamartri. There's basically no way we could afford him. I mean, he's on 1,200 a week, so we'd have to get promoted probably for that to be possible. I mean, we don't even have a 30,000 transfer budget, and they're going to want probably close to 300 at least. And, I'm always looking for someone for the next league up. We'll have to see. But yeah, I think that leaves us in a pretty good spot. We're up to 10th. We've actually took Harrogate's place there. And we have got a game in hand, which theoretically could put us up to 4th. But I mean, that's unlikely. Because we've got a few players who do play international games, we've postponed quite a few matches. So we tend to be getting like 5 or 6 matches in the space of a few weeks. And then no games for a week or 2. So we're obviously a game down there. But yeah, I think we're going to leave that there for today. I'm going to play through the next 2 games off camera, and then I think next game And I think next episode we'll probably come back for the Carlisle match and see how things go. I was going to do a Carlisle and Swindon double header, but to be honest, the Swindon game is kind of a write-off because we've already secured promotion, well, progression at least, through to the second stage of this tournament. So it's just we're just sort of playing a dead rubber at that point. So yeah, we'll be doing the Carlisle game in the next episode. But I mean, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, maybe leave a like or comment down below. It really does help out a great deal, and it means a hell of a lot to me as well. We'll be back in just over a week in game, actually. There's not going to be much to catch up on at all, so we'll be pretty much just jumping into the game, barring some other nightmare, because God knows what's going to happen. We might have 3 more players retired or injured or something by the time it comes around. But yeah, subscribe to make sure you don't miss the upcoming matches and potentially a really struggling season. And I'll see you next time.